Good afternoon, guys. So good to see you. I hope you can jump on this live and we can discuss this issue together. I'm talking about parenting as a team, right? So that's a really good thing, to be working in unity. And children are amazing. They are our greatest gift, but boy, they can cause some conflict and they can upend a household if we don't really work together. So we have 4 children. They're about 2 years apart. They're in their kind of 30s and down at the moment, but I just love my children, and I know you do too. So one of the things about parenting as a team is that we have to be united, and that's a really important part of it. And so a lot of the things that come up, we can actually do the legwork of that as we talk together as a couple, communicate about things that might come up down the track. So we really do have to learn to be on the same page. And that is, perhaps if you've been parented differently, you might have quite different ideas, but it really is important to come to some sort of compromise. It might be things about tidiness in the house, what's acceptable, what isn't, responsibilities, age appropriate times to go to bed, how we handle technology, what we do if our child has a tantrum. Like, getting on the same page is really, really vital. So that's actually coming from a position of strength, rather than if there's something that happens and there's conflict, and then all of a sudden the conflict is not just about the child, it becomes about you. So another thing we want to do is always back each other up in front of the kids. Even if you think differently, we need to be a united front with our children. And maybe you can say, look, we think, even to the child, look, we think a little bit differently about this. We're going to talk about this, and we're going to come back to you with what we've decided. So really standing together is so important, because children are adorable, but they can kind of find the cracks really easily and know who to go to get what they want, right? So don't let your children divide you and conquer you. You guys stand as a team. A couple of things I really want to share with you this afternoon was about what we used to do all those years ago, and we would call a family meeting. When things weren't working in the home, Rick would say, hey guys, we're going to have a family meeting. There might have been maybe conflict between the kids is heightening. It might be winter, and like a lot of you are experiencing all the homeschooling with your children, and we know how tense things can get at times. So Rick might call a family meeting, and they were just the cutest moments. I'm sure the kids thought, oh no, we're in trouble, Dad's called a family meeting. But we would all gather together in the lounge room, and Rick would, really encourage the kids about who we are as a family. He would always say, we are the Leeworthy family. We're not the Smith family. We are the Leeworthy family. And that means that we love each other. We're kind. We've got each other's back, and talk like that. And then, he would bring up the issue. Let's say it's about conflict is really getting heightened at the moment. And he would invite them into that conversation and say, well, what do you think? And, they'd go around the room. Maybe the eldest would be 10, and then you'd have little Hannah. She'd be about 4. It was the cutest thing, but that all put their little bit of input in, and we talk about, okay, so what are we going to do? What are we going to do about this? So it was really good, because we were teaching them to be part of the solution, to be able to express themselves, to be part of the solution, so that we could kind of have a plan moving forward. And even talking about consequences. What do you think will be a good consequence if you two are fighting, and what are we going to do in that situation? What do you think's fair? And it was just so cute. So, sometimes it's always best for us to communicate as a couple and be united and be ahead of the game. But sometimes it's nice to bring the kids in on that journey, and then they feel a part of it. There's ownership, and they're much more aware of what's going on. I don't know what you were like, but sometimes, you're talking to the kids on the run. Stop that. Don't do that. Like instead of like, I remember I would grab their face and I would say, hey, Maddie, I want you to look at me. You're not to treat your brother like that, or whatever the issue was, to stop, to pause, to make that a moment with them where they can kind of really let it sink in and make the right decision. So hence the family meetings. But another thing that is really important that I wanted to just chat to you about is the marriage meeting. Now, we didn't do that back in when our kids were younger, because I was a stay-at-home mum. I was with the children all the time, even through high school, and then I got on with my career then. But so it wasn't so necessary then. But what I'm finding these days is because mum and dad both work, there's stepchildren involved. It's really quite a busy and a hectic lifestyle that people are living in at the moment. So it's really important to have those meetings, and that might be a 30-minute Sunday night conversation where it's just kind of a functional meeting, a strategy meeting, where you talk about the week ahead and you make a plan. So that actually, here is my book here, the Marriage Playbook, which we're working to get that out to you. I'm just trying to get some copies in hard copy and some in linen. So I'm very excited about that. But hopefully in the next 3 or 4 weeks, it'll be available on our website, and it'll be available, online at Book Depository and all those online places where we buy from. But the marriage meeting, which it talks about on this page, it really is that 30-minute conversation that you have together. And, that it might be you start off with a review, what you spoke about the week before. You talk about that again. How did the week go? How did that week go? Those things that we were focused on. And, you talk about that. You might discuss then about the jobs or the chores that need doing, the budget, the drop-offs, the meals for the family, everything like that. And then you bring up concerns. Hey, we're having trouble with our daughter. She's on her iPhone, in her room, and she's on it for hours. How are we going to manage that? So you bring up those concerns and you talk about working through that. And then you might organise some kid-free time. Okay, what are we going to do for date night this week? How about we go for a walk, when after dinner, when the kids are sort of packing up or doing what they do, we'll go for a 15-minute walk together so we can spend some quality time together. So kid-free time, and then set a goal for the week. Hey, why don't we work? I've noticed that Freddie has been a little bit withdrawn this week. How about we spend some quality time and really fill up Freddie's love tank? Because we know when the love tank's full, the child is full and you get better behaviour. So that is the marriage meeting, guys. And I think that it is a really valuable thing that puts you on the front foot in the midst of a busy world instead of being on the back foot. So hope that's helped. Don't forget that your kids are in process. Like, their brain is not fully formed. They don't fully understand consequences till like 23 years old or something like that. And so they're never going to be perfect, just like we're not perfect. They're in process, and they are one of the greatest gifts to us as a family. They need you to be loving, they need boundaries, and they need consistency. So enjoy your family, guys, and I look forward to catching up with you next week. Bye-bye.